Well, thank you, Mr. Al Green, for that beautiful Sha-La-La song. And I am Paul K. Lemire. This is Habsolutely. We don't care about Al Green here. No, it doesn't matter to us. He doesn't make any difference. We care about Caufield and Suzuki and Slavkovsky.
Yeah.
And I am bringing back to the studio today Drew Deeks, the YouTube sensation with millions of views, who has come into the studio again because you know what? We are taping this live on video, so you can catch it on the Drew Deeks channel. Hello, everybody. Here I am. So you know who's behind the voice. That's John Fillion, my co-host on the other side
Bonjour,
of the table.
mes amis.
Oui, c'est ça.
Bonjour.
Les Canadiens sont là.
See, they are, and you're right. They are.
What does that mean?
What is that?
They're here.
Drew, what? They
Qu'est-ce que
are
c'est?
now. They are here.
Oh, they're arrived.
They have arrived.
The rebuild-
And I think after last night, it's very apropos. Les Canadiens sont là.
Oh, yeah.
The rebuild's
I
over,
agree.
boys.
It is. And now we're just waiting for the next season to make it come into full effect. And the force is going to be with us next year. I can almost guarantee that sitting here right now, especially after last night's game. But we had a meatloaf week this week, which I love. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, baby. It's the best that we have done in a long time against 2 premium teams. We played great games, all 3 games this week. And we gave the Kraken a bad beating at home. It was a beat down in Cracktown.
And this was the what was the week you were saying it was going to be the Hell Week?
Well,
The Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty Dozen.
The Dirty Dozen.
That's
yeah.
Paul's favorite
So
saying.
Yeah, we're halfway through the Dirty Dozen. Actually, we have
We're only
6
halfway,
games
eh?
in, and we have out of 12 points, 6 points. So we're playing the Dirty Dozen, which is the games that we could lose all of them, and we're not. We're playing 500 hockey through it. Yep. I am ecstatic with this team and the way they've been playing lately, Drew.
Exceptional.
And we might as well start with last night, right? I mean, an inspirational performance with the return of MSL behind the bench. That was a pretty inspiring performance. As much as we want to see them, get a good draft pick, and that's been the focus the last three summers, but including this one. But I mean, you can't give away, like, you can't just you have to realize that winning games like these is so good for that locker room going forward. To win against the Stanley Cup champions of 2 years ago, beat them twice this season. They swept the season series against the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, that's just right then and there. I mean, they won at home, they won on the road against them, and Montreal can't even score, and we still beat them.
And I'm going out on a limb here. I'm calling this the best game of the season for the Montreal Canadiens.
Why was it the best game in your eyes? What did you see?
I think
we all watched, but
they played a 60-minute game, and they played against a premium team that was set up to beat us, and they wanted to beat us. In Colorado Avalanche, and I don't know, John, you could probably agree with this. Colorado Avalanche have something over Montreal ever since the Patrick Waugh trade and everything, and we always have a hard time against them. And we played a great game.
Well, first of all,
great game.
The Avalanche are a great team. Number one. Number 2, we're on the road. We're like what? That's the 4th game on the road or the 3rd game on the road.
Yeah. Well, 6 games we played on the road now.
We'd
4
lost,
in a row.
right?
4 in a row.
We'd lost to Vancouver. We beat Seattle, and then we come up and as you say, MSL comes back to the team.
Yes, huge difference.
And as soon as this game starts, Colorado scores.
yeah,
Like immediately.
it didn't look good to start.
No, immediately.
Yeah, 43 seconds
and we had our first line out there, and Caufield, kind of gave up the puck, and off they went, and the next thing you know, it's in the net.
And then Nick Suzuki, thank goodness.
9 seconds later.
I thought Slavkovsky got an assist on that play. They didn't give it to him at first, but he did, and they gave it to him. So 40 points for Slav, which is awesome. Which is freaking awesome.
He set a record, I believe.
He actually now owns the record for the youngest teenager in Canadiens history with the most points as a teenager.
Is he tied, or does he own it?
I think he owns it now with
he
that
passed
assist
Mario
they gave him.
Tremblay. Speaking of Colorado Avalanche and Patrick Waugh, suck it, Mario.
Yeah.
Wasn't it Henri
You're right
Richard?
about that one.
He set a record for points.
I actually took a picture of this just to be prepared for you guys. So I don't know about the.
I thought it was like a teenager with tied for points being a teenager.
So here it is. Juraj Slafkovsky is now the lone record holder when it comes to points scored by a teenager single season in Montreal Canadiens franchise history, passing Mario Tremblay at 39 points. So, yes, thank you. Thank you, Slav. I believed in you from the very beginning. You know what? Anyway,
You did. You did.
I didn't. That's the joke, honestly. If you ever go, anyway, it's a long story. People on my channel.
No, but
know the story.
you did after he got on the ice and showed what he can do. I mean,
I got his jersey before he played a game. I did. So like I totally changed. Anyways, everyone on my channel knows that story, and that's why I always joke around about it. But Slav passed Mario Tremblay, Stéphane Richer, Henri Richard, and Jesperi Kotkaniemi for that record.
Who?
KK, remember him?
Oh, right. Where is he now?
He's. I think he's.
Some bum team
I don't know.
on
I
the
think
fourth
he's
line.
back to
Is
Europe.
he still playing?
Well, he was on Carolina for a long, but I think they
is.
tossed him out. Is he still playing
no,
or
he's
no?
still there. He's on the third and fourth
for $6.5 million or whatever. He's getting paid.
In his
Some
mind,
big
he's
money.
going to Carolina.
Well, his cap hit's lower now after the offer sheet.
Yeah, what is
for
it?
the $20 bonus, which
Yeah.
they threw in the Habs face, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway,
exactly.
back to Slavkovsky, a guy who's actually going to remain here for a long time. 40 points, and he holds the record now for a teenager. And it's funny because he no longer will be a teenager in 3 days. So good timing, Slav.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good for him, man.
and
He
that's-
turns 20 on March 30th. And,
Yep.
yeah. By the time you watch this,
Oh, this kid is like John always talks about. This kid
His ceiling.
is ceiling. That's what John talks.
And I was watching him again last night, obviously, and I still think he can grow with his hockey sense, his hockey presence. I think there's room for him to get even better.
oh, there's so much room. And that's what I think everyone's excited about, seeing his progress so soon in the last 2.5 months, 3 months, is how fast he grew, because this is what they expected would happen, and that's why they kept him in the NHL. And as you can see, the Canadiens are just proving themselves right. We're going to talk about all the Habs prospects at one point and how they just lit it up on the weekend.
Yeah,
4 or 5 of our prospects. We're going to get to that.
good.
Oh, for sure. And that,
But
I think,
my
has
goodness.
everything
Oh
about
boy.
the Canadiens sont là.
Yes.
They're here.
They
You know
are
what?
here now. It's it's arriving. I think the train is pulling into the station a little sooner than everybody expected.
All aboard! All aboard! Come on, all you dummies out there, get on our train over here. Come
on. We know what we're
What's the
talking
matter
about.
with you?
I love the starter jacket, by the way. We got to give that a shout out. This 90s starter throwback. Look at this. You can get a free jacket, can't you, with this peeling the stars out of your neck collar there? Remember that?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, I wanted to throw that out there.
This is about 30 years old, this jacket.
Yeah.
I got it in the 90s.
They're awesome. Those things are such a throwback.
Can't
I
find
love
them
those.
anymore.
That's why I love that you wear it every show. I love it. But yeah, I mean, the Canadiens, honestly, are they not showing signs? Look at the roster they put on the ice last night.
Again, the goal was scored within 45 seconds?
Yeah, 43
Yeah.
seconds, I think.
And
something.
and 10 seconds later or 15 seconds later,
9 seconds.
it's a tie game.
Yeah.
And Nick Suzuki, by the way, new career high in points and goals.
Yeah, I mean, we got to be happy. Now, I got to ask you a question, though.
Could have had his
How do you
30th.
think Shane Wright felt against the Kraken when we played him? Like, what do you think he was thinking?
I don't know.
watching
He
that
wasn't
game?
there.
Well, he wasn't there, but I mean, we picked Slavkovsky. He gave us the stink guy walking off the
Oh,
stage.
yeah. That's
You
when
know?
I knew. I'm like, you guys were right. No pun intended anymore.
That's right.
And you have to wonder why that situation actually exists. Because he obviously has talent.
You know what it was?
What's gone south?
Well, did you hear the story that came out publicly? Because we released this on the Habs Tonight Show when this is when our show we were still fully into it. But my friends were at the draft. They were watching the draft. And some of them know people that work as photographers or whatever within the Canadiens organization. And they had information, which came out from public reporters from the Canadiens as well, came out publicly, that Shane Wright had a second interview with Vinny Lecavalier, and it didn't go well. It did not go well. After that, they saw his cocky attitude. They saw maybe that the whole number one draft pick consensus had gone to his head. He thought he deserved it, and they decided against it right then and there. And I'm not saying that's the only reason. I think they also believe that Slavkovsky has the higher ceiling. And look at the guy. He's a power forward. He's a big body. How small have the Canadiens been for how long? right? And we're still not that big, but
We're still not that big, and that's a key thing to keep in mind.
yes. But Slavkovsky, that's another reason they took him. But another reason they didn't take Shane Wright is because his attitude, it wasn't where Slavkovsky's is. You see how he is with the media. This is like Stu Cowan from the Gazette calls this locker room a band of brothers. Like, these guys genuinely love being together. Look at the way Yoel Armia is playing right now. Who is this guy? Who is this guy?
Armia played with major intent last night.
That guy was
he
on
did.
the power play
What
last
I
night.
will say about Joel Armia as well, Brendan Gallagher made that goal happen.
Also impressed by Gallagher's play lately, too.
And Gallagher, is going through that struggle. I think the team is realizing it's like we all have struggles, but we're struggling together also, and we come together as a team.
They're doing everything together.
Absolutely, and they're respecting everybody's personal struggles,
They are.
and
On and
that
off the ice.
says so much for the attitude from that team.
Yeah.
Well, it comes back to that thing that you always talk about, John, and that's culture. The culture of winning, the culture of playing together as a team. There's no I in team. Every saying that you could imagine that's ever thrown out there.
You know what there's an I in? Right.
Right, Shane Wright. Is that what you're talking about?
And
There's no I in Slavkovsky. Anyway.
and don't forget, I mean, we had a guy named Caufield
Still
come.
recovering from sickness.
We had
forgive me,
a guy Cole Caufield come to the team from the AHL. He played like a couple games in the AHL. I think the first game he scored a goal or two goals.
Yeah.
And everybody set up and took notice. I mean, we got excited when that happened, and obviously that's when the Habs made the run into the finals. It started it off.
Yeah.
And the other night, I think it was on Saturday, somewhere in Belleville, Ontario, a guy named David Reinbacher makes his AHL debut.
And did that guy not make a statement?
And wasn't
that
he my
goal
third
was
star
amazing.
last week?
Yes.
You know what, Johnny?
Yes!
He was.
You called it, man.
And now the
called
whole deal here with David Reinbacher is everybody in the organization, every fan of the Montreal Canadiens, Laval Rockets, knows that Reinbacher tied that game in his first debut in the AHL.
First pro game.
What it means to Laval, who are fighting for a playoff stance. You got to believe every defenseman who plays for the Montreal Canadiens right now, every defenseman who's a prospect on the team currently, or is a future or a draft pick, or wherever they are, they all know David Reinbacher is now in North America playing hockey.
Yeah.
And that's going to inspire everyone to play better.
And the goal he got, he walked through the defense, and just
It was a bold move.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
for a guy who just came up, and here he is all of a sudden. Like, who's this guy? Is he as good as he says he is, or they say he is? He doesn't say. And he walks through with them and puts it in the net. Like, it was like okay,
Great
next.
hockey sense.
Yeah,
Great
it
hockey
was.
sense.
And that's where one of
Yeah.
the scouts, I think I said this last episode, one of the scouts said, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do offensively. And then, bang.
Yeah.
His first pro game in his career, first pro game in his life, period. That's at the AHL or NHL level. His first pro game, he scores that goal, but it was a meaningful goal at a meaningful time in a game that they needed.
A meaningful
And he
game.
took it on himself. He
Dang.
in the neutral zone, you saw him deke past the guy, put the puck past, and create a 2-on-1 and decided to shoot, which obviously was the right decision. And there you have it, man. And then he gets an assist in
I was
game
amazed.
2. The Laval Rocket won all 3 games on the weekend.
Well, and in overtime
And
of
then
that
in
particular
overtime,
game,
We're not done talking about defensive prospects.
Logan Mailloux
Oui.
puts the puck in the net to win the game.
C'est ça. Magnifique. Excellent.
C'est très bon.
Well, I'm smiling.
That's where it ends right there.
I'm smiling because you know what? These guys are all going to be playing on the Habs. Maybe even next year. Who knows?
Sooner than later.
Logan
Sooner
Mailloux
than
is
later.
probably going to be... The consensus seems to be from the folks that I asked on my channel, because I wasn't able to produce videos. You could probably still hear it in my voice that, I'm still recovering from just having a bit of a cold or whatever. But Logan Mailloux seems to be the consensus of who's going to be making the Canadiens first out of their defensive prospects between Reinbacher, Hutson, Mailloux. But Hutson may get some game action with the Canadiens before the end of the season. We still don't know. He's still playing right now in the championship with Boston College. So, or is it University? Did I get that wrong again?
I think he's with college.
He's okay. Good. And then Jacob Fowler.
He's with university.
Yes, made an outstanding save that made its rounds online.
Well, and Hutson did the toe drag.
And then Hutson does the toe drag, and then Florian Xhekaj, 2 goals, 3 assists, just pops off in his last OHL game of the season, possibly his last of his career, because he might be heading to Laval next year too. He'll be 20 years old. He'll be eligible. So you influx, Owen, and then Owen Beck scored too. Like, are you kidding me? This was a weekend
I feel
for the
bad.
Canadiens prospect.
I feel bad for Machard. Did he do anything?
Then we go.
Bouchard?
Machard.
Oh, Machard. Oh, Philip Machard, yeah.
Yeah, did he do anything?
He got a hat trick, I
feel
think,
bad
too.
Did he? Oh, okay. There you go.
and then we beat the Kraken, and then go to Colorado and win this an amazing game for us.
Yeah, the best game of the year.
So
If this weekend...
MSL comes back, I mean, the last 3 or 4 days, absolutely the best.
It really has been. And it's not like we didn't see this coming, because we've been talking about how well the Habs have been playing, especially against the better teams. Okay, they get beat by a goal. Yeah. They get beat by a goal, but they play really, really good games. I've sat here and I'm saying, I think that's the best game of the year. I think, we lost, but it was the best game we played of the year. Now, finally, another best game of the year that we played, and we win this time.
And that is the difference. The game didn't get tied.
That's right.
You said something a minute ago, winning culture. This game is going to be a game they're going to look back to next season and say, that's where we start. These kinds of games are against Colorado. Seattle, sure, but Colorado is a big one because of the
Seattle's a big one too, because a guy named Caden Primo was the goalie.
Yes. That's what I mean. Like
another phenomenal game.
Maybe it's just a stroke of a good.
Well, everything is starting to tighten up. I.e., we went from a 3 goaltender system to a 2 goaltender system.
Yes,
that makes a big difference.
Huge difference.
It's almost like I really think Reinbacher coming from Europe into the fold here in North America, in the little pocket of Montreal and Dorval. Laval. It means a lot. It does. And
it looked like he couldn't wait to get here the way he played.
Absolutely.
That's what it looked like to me. He's fired up, and he was nervous, but he turned that nervous energy into exciting energy because, as we saw,
we're going to see Lane Hutson sign a contract in the next few months.
Less than that now,
and come into play for the Habs.
He'll be here. He'll be under contract real soon.
Now, some people think he'll go to the big team next year.
Right to the Canadiens?
Some people think that. I think
he could work with Mike Matheson. Another reason why Mike Matheson's still here.
I think what's got to happen is training camp will be very interesting, as we've spoken about.
Yeah.
But if it was me, I think I'd kind of keep Reinbacher and Hutson in Laval for a little while.
Well, if they're going to be deep pair partners, I mean, they'll get tons of minutes.
Exactly.
Next season, if that's the case, because Savard, Mathis, you have enough guys on the defense core of the Canadiens that you don't need to push anybody out the door right now. You
don't need to push them out the door, but you might want to send them out the door. and
politely, you're saying the way. That's Ken Hughes' way.
Mike Matheson, I come in and talk with me. I have some good news. You've been traded.
But there's a lot of debate around him right now. Do you think that he needs to be traded sooner or later? Because I don't think they can afford to lose him.
I think Montreal has got to shore up who are going to play defense for them.
Right.
In, let's call it 2026. Who's going to be the defensive core? And any player who's not part of that picture in 2026 is eligible to be traded for a goal scorer.
Well, they may not even have to get rid of them to do that, though. If they get him, they're gonna have to trade somebody. That's not true.
Well, we got too many. I mean, let's face it.
We have too many.
Goalie isn't going anywhere. Xhekaj isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think Matheson is going
Xhekaj needs
anywhere.
to sign a contract, right?
Yeah, he's close to needing a new deal.
Yeah, he will.
I think him and Slavkovsky.
Jack guy needs to sign it. They need to sign a deal this year.
And I don't think Strubal's going anywhere. So I think that's our four.
I think Strubel actually could go somewhere, and I think Strubel is actually concerned about the competition.
Well, it's a good problem, though.
Well, you got Savard, Harris, and Barron. I mean, they're the three to me that if they were there or they're not there, it doesn't really matter. I don't think. I mean, we need them now, but once we get Hutson,
I don't want to give up on Barron just yet.
And Barron's playing in Laval right now.
He is.
Yeah.
But it's a good situation for him to be down there and just kind of also have a bit more experience than like the Mailloux and the Reinbachers and help them along and give himself some confidence and reassurance. He knows what he's doing. But
well, if Barron also contributes to this run for them getting into the playoffs, that is optimal.
Well, that would be huge it would just be huge for everybody. But I'm not so we traded Arturi Lehkonen to get Justin Barron, and I just think that the jury's not out on Barron yet. I don't think we can give up on him yet. It showed this season that he was overwhelmed. There were games where it was like, okay, this is too much for him.
Yeah.
So he needed to go back down, and he did. But he's still got some good. He's still when he first started, he was riding that sort of new season energy that every player gets for the first 2 months, where they're just riding on a high of just hockey's back, and you're loving what you're doing, and you're just kind of riding on adrenaline. But I'm not going to give up on Barron just yet.
Well, we'll see because, like I say,
there's more to be desired there. A lot more to be desired.
He's great in Laval and good he's there. But next year, when it comes to the Habs, you look at the names that you think are probably not going to move too far, and I don't put Harris or Barron in those names or Savard. I think you got the four guys that I think are going to stick around and be there next year: Xhekaj, Goalie, Strubel, and who else did I say? Matheson. I think those four guys, unless something huge happens or we can get some, like John said, some big name or some scorer for it.
What about Kovacevic?
Yeah, well, he's another guy who's going to be there. So there's five right there. Who else did I forget?
You need right-handed shot.
But we have a lot of rights in the system.
In the system, yes.
Who else?
Logan Mailloux.
Exactly.
So he could come up.
Reinbacher.
Yeah, Reinbacher not yet, but
they start bringing those guys up. Like, who's going? I would say the names I look at are Savard, Harrison, Barron. I don't see anybody else that they'd want to get rid of. They're young. They're good.
Yeah.
So it's a great problem to have. Let me put it that way. And I don't want to make
it's the biggest good problem.
And I wouldn't want to make that decision, to be honest with you. But something's going to give. That's for sure.
Something has to give. And like I say, I mean, again, if the Canadiens start winning some games, our draft choice changes. Will we pick up a goal scorer in the draft? Hard to say. I don't know if there's
that's the plan.
Anybody really? Is there somebody really there that we?
Oh, you mean in the draft itself?
In this draft itself.
Okay. Okay.
And then
I'm just gonna pull up.
And then what we have to do is decide who is it in the NHL who is available that wants to trade a goal scorer for a couple of defensemen.
Yeah, and that's what their plan is going to be. Is if say they don't draft a scorer. Which I mean, Kent Hughes did say we won't shy away from drafting for need versus just the best player available, which they did the last 2 years.
Yes, they did.
But, I mean, they need a forward above all else. Because if they draft a defenseman, they're going to have to trade, three at once? Yeah. I don't know. But it does seem like if they don't get the forward that they feel is going to make the difference for the top six in the future, then they're going to have to make a trade to do that then.
We need a goal scorer.
For sure. 100%. There's
no question. We do.
There's no question.
There's no question about that. We need a prolific goal scorer, 40-goal man. And I'm just wondering if maybe Caufield, he sacrificed the year. This is the way I look at Caufield. I think he sacrificed this year to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Like last year, he had 26 goals before he got injured, and he was going to 40 or 50 maybe. But he was playing the goal scorer part like he did when he played college hockey and everything. Everything else he's ever done, they told him, you go out and score goals. That's what you're good at. But when you get to the NHL, like John said, it's a little bit different. And Marty St. Louis helped him in that respect. So he may have given up this year's production to learn how to play hockey. And I think maybe next year we're not going to see 20 from him. We may well see 30 or 35 because I think he's going to learn how to do both, like Marty St. Louis did, right?
Well, he is doing the other. That's the thing. Look at the assist column.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So he's becoming like a setup man,
He's a playmaker.
defense man.
Well, a lot of people are
Like John
focusing
said.
on him.
John said.
What I'm finding is, what I'm noticing, I think, is that they're trying to make these guys, whatever their strongest, their top level attribute is, whether you're a goal scorer or a playmaker, they're trying to get these guys to be able to be good enough to do all of it. You know, Slavkovsky can score goals, but he can pass the puck. He can pass it with some zip too.
He's become an amazing playmaker.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and then Caufield the same.
And Slav
Nick Suzuki.
actually could become a huge goal scorer for the Habs.
Yeah, he could get.
Oh, yeah.
he could get 35, 40.
Oh,
But that's not the goal. It'll be a byproduct of having a more well-rounded game.
exactly, and that's why I think maybe this year Caufield was told, don't worry about how many goals you get. Like
Yeah.
I know the fans are thinking 40 or 50. They're all talking.
And you got to look at his. Honestly, when it comes to, I don't look at a lot of advanced analytics that much. I'm trying to get better to see if there's They are telling some of the story, but that guy shoots the puck a lot.
Yes,
He does.
Caufield may not score. May not get 30 this year, but he is shooting the puck more than anybody on the team still.
So last night he had a great opportunity. He had, I think, almost a breakaway. Basically,
Yeah,
I think
did.
he grabbed the puck, he threw it
It was
down,
a good defensive play,
and
actually, too.
and it happened very quick.
Yes, it did.
So he arrived at the goal very quick, and he decided to shoot.
Yeah, he didn't get
Now,
much of a shot off.
when you're that deep in front of the goaltender and you're taking a shot, I think the advantage is with the goalie.
Yeah.
I think when you get that deep, you got to deke, or you got to try and
I don't
deke.
think he had time to deke.
You got to try and deke.
Yeah, but
that's all I can say.
Drew Deke.
exactly.
Because you saw Suzuki's goal came from probably the faceoff circle,
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Is
So
the
he-
faceoffs have improved.
but it came from the
That's how
faceoff
Alex Newhook
circle in
too.
the sense that that's the location where he was. He could see like a hole.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, he shot it. He picked the corner, whatever. But Caufield was right on top of that goalie.
Yeah. Well, Suzuki put it 5-hole, I think. But regardless, are we taking a quick commercial break, Mr. Paul Caleb?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes, it's time for a commercial break. We have to mention Restaurant Reviews Niagara, who sponsors this show.
We've got a big solar eclipse coming up, I think, on April the 8th here. And I believe the mayor...
Are we in Niagara Falls?
Yes.
Yes, I believe the...
Oh my goodness!
I believe the mayor, Jim Diodati, has said that we're going to have like 1 million people here in Niagara Falls. So
It's going to be crazy.
Let's just take a quick look at last 3 weeks' games. We basically talked about them, but Vancouver, we lost 4-1. I didn't see the Habs really get going. It was interesting. Casey DeSmith, who was with Montreal for about a month, he had a hell of a game.
Yeah, he
And we traded Tanner Pearson for him, believe it or not, and a third-round pick. But he put on a show for his fans, 941 on the Habs, and he kept them to 1 goal. It wasn't a bad game against a premium and hot team. Slav did the honors for the Habs with a nice tip on a shot by Cole Caufield.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that was the Habs' only marker. So not much to talk about. You guys got anything to say about the Vancouver game?
I mean, that was a game we kind of expected them to lose.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
did.
And
They did. They lived up to expectations
Yeah.
for that game.
But
But
I
I was surprised by the Colorado game. That game surprised me
Yeah,
last
I
night,
didn't
so.
think they played a bad game against Vancouver. It's just I don't know. They just never got going. It seemed to me. But then we come back and we go to Seattle, and I was worried about Seattle only because these 3 games on the road out west, that western swing, it really depletes your energy sometimes and that. But Primo got the start, and I expected him to get the start in this one, and Sammy to get the start in Vancouver. And he had a great game. He laid down a 973 for the Habs. 36 to 37 shots. They had 37 shots against us, the Kraken. We only managed 17 shots. A little bit worrying going into Colorado. But the Kraken goaltender, Grubauer, was having a tough night. I mean, 17 shots. He had like 4 goals on him. They finally yanked him.
Former Stanley Cup winner.
Yeah, and they yanked him and put in Decord. Is that a French last name? It sounds like it. Decord.
Oh.
So kudos to Newhook for a pair. Good for I was so happy to see him score. He does work hard all the time.
Newhook has been getting better and better
Every
too.
game.
He is standing out, and he's playing really well with Yoel Armia and Brendan Gallagher. All of a sudden, those guys look really good together. And it's good. I'm happy for Brendan Gallagher because of all, like, he's not getting traded anytime soon. It's just not going to happen.
That's quite a line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it really is,
and
John. You said it.
That is quite a line.
Armia's resurgence and then Newhook's fast feet. That line has some skill and some size, some puck protecting ability from Armia, some grinding ability from Brendan Gallagher, and a lot of speed and skill from Newhook.
So when we get a line like that contributing in games like they did in Seattle as well as in Colorado, we win games.
We win games.
We won both.
and Goalie had 3 points in that game.
Yes, he did. He had himself a nice. He scored. What was the game he scored on? They lost the game. I'm trying to think of what game it was. It wasn't Vancouver. Was it Edmonton? It was the Edmonton game. I think he scored a goal too. But again, like, there's certain players that are just getting better and better and more noticeable. Goalie was one of them too.
I think
he got roughed up, but he got roughed up a lot in the Edmonton game too.
Yeah, he did.
But he's taking his licks, right? He's taking his licks as a young player.
But at the same point, again, if the Colorado game on that first goal, that quick 45-second goal, whatever.
Yeah.
He was like chasing the puck and not the man. And I think Goolie's ceiling, he's got to grow defensively.
No, he does. Like, of course. Which
he's
one
just
of them
young,
doesn't, right? But Jack Guy's been playing good as well.
And Matheson got his 10th.
And Matheson's 10th goal.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Little Bobby Orr again. That was his second
yeah.
coast-to-coast goal of the season.
He's amazing.
That was his second time this season that he did that, and that was a beautiful goal. And if you watch the goal too, was it Grubauer? No, it was Decord, right? That was the net for Seattle, and you saw him get to the end and have a chance to deke like you said, Caufield should have. And if he would have lifted the puck, he would have made a wicked save on Mike Matheson, but instead he tucked it underneath as he saw him lift his pad. Matheson had the wherewithal, tragically hip reference, to tuck it in, and that was a
beauty.
That's having patience.
Patience, smarts, icing on the cake for that goal.
Yeah, and I always wish Goalie was a goalie because I'm dying to say Goalie the goalie. I don't know why. I just get every time I see that, and I think of if he was a goalie, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people used to call goalies ghoulies.
Ghoulies, yeah, they did. The Goalie. Yeah, Goalie the goalie.
But again, Alex Newhook also got a welcome back in Colorado last night, and again, it's been encouraging to see Newhook flourish.
Yes,
because he missed so much time this season, and people were upset at first about the 2 draft picks traded for Newhook before the draft last summer.
Oh no!
But now you're seeing why
we got
Alex
him.
Newhook is that you're seeing the reason that they got him, and he's only getting better and better. He's like a Raphael Harvey Pinard hybrid. Like, Harvey Pinard plays just as hard and intense as Newhook. I don't think he's as skilled as Newhook, but clearly you see why you see why they traded for Alex Newhook.
And when I look at that game, just the game 5-1, what a confidence builder. You go out there and you've been playing so many 1-goal games and close games, and all of a sudden you go out there, you get 5. Everybody's hammering themselves on the back, and they're so happy and congratulating each other.
Well,
what a great game!
And Newhook too has great hockey sense.
He does.
He does. That's the thing. But you're right about the morale of this team, and that's why I'm saying, like earlier in the episode, how these establishing or trying to create that winning culture. These are the seeds of creating that winning culture, right?
They really
are. You
are.
have to take these wins. Montreal's 7th last right now, so they have, two worse spots off than last year, pretty much, for the draft. They're in 2 higher positions, which makes the draft pick lower, right?
Yeah, it's funny.
I think you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, it's funny though because
what was that?
When you watch Montreal play, I'm going,
together.
Well, we're better than this team. We're going to beat Kraken. And meanwhile, if you look at the
I expect
standings
them to beat them, but
and everything, they're better than us.
Right, Kraken has a better record.
Yeah, they have the better record. So I'm talking like Montreal's better than them, and they were 5-1 better. So there you go, right?
Yeah.
Now we have the return of Martin St. Louis to Colorado. We've talked about that, and I really, really have nothing to say other than what a tremendous game. Caps, the Avs took a 1-0 lead really 43 seconds in and turned it right around. Suzuki turned around with his 29th of the season. So he's going to get 30. He might get 35. I mean, we still got a few games left here.
How many games are left?
What, 7 or 8? There can't
At
be
least,
very
eh?
many left.
Let's get that number.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
And Armia added one, and we've been talking about Armia, John, about how good Armia's been.
Yeah, and like I say, Gallagher made that goal happen.
Yeah, so, I mean...
He took 2 players out.
Still got 11 games left.
So if 11 games left, I got to believe Nick Suzuki could easily score, 6 plus?
Yeah, 35 goal. I think he'll get 35.
Even if he doesn't, the fact that he gets over 30 is kind of a cool story.
It is.
He's the captain. You know, he's the second year captain, still the youngest captain in Canadiens history.
Well, he's leading the team.
He's leading the way.
He's leading the team in
He's
points
leading this team in points, in everything.
And his faceoffs have gotten a lot better. Sean Monahan, thank you so much for what you did to help Nick Suzuki's faceoff game, because it's improved as well. And even Alex Newhook, you're seeing him take a lot more draws too. Again, they don't know if he's a center or a winger, back and forth, but we need center depth, and you need guys that can win faceoffs, and that's what I've noticed is more offensive opportunities have been coming about because they're winning more faceoffs.
Yeah,
well, it's so important to win a faceoff.
You don't realize until you start seeing your own team win them more, and you're like, oh,
well, it's
that's
puck
why
possession, right? I mean,
it's possession.
It's
just
about
like in overtime,
possession,
right?
absolutely,
It's all about
and especially if you're in your defender's zone, you want to have that puck and have that opportunity with a shot.
Yep.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention our buddy Sammy with a .964 save percentage for the night. And believe me, this is the kind of goaltending that we need. And I think as the team organically gets better, just because now all these guys have another season under their belt, and you can see them progressing. This is what's so interesting to me. You can see this game progressing. That game against the Avs, they would have lost 3 months ago, maybe. But they didn't.
And Sammy's in a new seat, right?
He sure
Jake
is.
is gone. Sammy's top dog if he wants to be top dog.
Yep.
Yeah, well, he is. They're paying him like he
So
is.
Yeah.
he has to take control. He has to,
Yes,
it's
so you got to
pretty-
love everything that's going on.
Yeah. Well, especially with Caden, too. Like, you just need these guys to come in.
Yeah.
It's cool to see that Caden Primo, like, you really see why they didn't give up on him. Like, the Canadians know so much better than we do, And you guys are right, like I mentioned last episode, too. And now I just like the fact there's more of a peace and a calm. It's funny, like, I actually watched the Leafs and Devils game for a while last night before the Habs game
They
started.
lost 6-3.
you were
Jake
sick.
Allen-
You were sick, right?
What's that?
You were sick.
It was making me sick watching them. But Jake Allen stood on his head against the Toronto Maple Leafs, man.
They won 6-3 last night.
They did.
Jake Allen has been playing phenomenal.
Good for
Yeah.
him. And you know
good,
what?
And
We
exactly.
need him to keep playing, actually.
Good.
Jake.
Congratulations
We can get that second.
to Jake Allen.
We can turn that third into a second pick.
Yes.
Good for Jake Allen to play so
I'm happy
well.
for him.
And it's basically, it's a relief for everybody.
It is.
It's a win-win. It's a
And-
win.
Absolutely.
And it's not that we didn't like Jake Allen. I just want
no.
to keep our young goaltenders that we have. And Jake's doing great. And congratulations. I hope he gets a shutout every game he plays from now on. It doesn't matter to me. But next year when we play him, I hope he sucks. I mean, that's, come on, let's face it. Right?
Well, we need him to play well so he can get
get a
that better
pick.
draft. I don't know. What are the chances that they also have to make the playoffs next year too, New Jersey? But they also have to stay healthy for that to happen.
That's right. John, here we are.
Les trois étoiles.
3-étoiles pour la semaine dernière.
Well, you got to say how great Nick Suzuki's been playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He
Did you say ab or hab?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
he continues to impress.
Did you see that one play? Who was it against? Was it against Vancouver or Calgary? Where he kind of like banked the puck to himself? Do you remember that play on the boards on the half wall?
I think so, yeah.
And then he carried he didn't score on the play, but I was just like, oh my gosh, like that was awesome. What it's those little things. Creativity, smarts.
Hockey
he's getting
sense.
better hockey sense.
He's just a
These
crazy.
guys, it's nice. Like you see why they're rebuilding as young as they are because they're all coming along, like you said, they're at the same time, and they're all going to peak at the same time.
The two goaltenders played phenomenal.
So
And the
they're your
goalies,
second and third étoile?
I would put them together. I'm so happy that we have a goaltending duo now.
Wait, so you just named all 3 stars, or no?
No, 2.
He named 2. He named first one
Suzuki.
Suzuki. Second one was the goaltenders, the goaltending team.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's so important that these two guys are going to function together and play well.
Yeah.
And that we've got that's why I think we won that game last night. Because Montembeault played amazing in that first period. Like
he was
He
fantastic.
didn't
like
he didn't let the game get out of hand.
No.
he was playing by himself at times. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah, the defense looked like they were running around.
were not in exactly where you'd like to have them. They were not exactly helping out. They were chasing pucks, not taking men, and Montembeault was feeling some pucks. I mean, all the pressure. I mean, I haven't really. I should look real quick here at the shots, but I gotta believe most of Colorado's shots came in that first period.
It's like 29-28 or something like that. It was like they're pretty close.
They're
in
pretty
shots.
close for the game.
Yeah.
But that particular time, in the first period, Colorado had 13 shots. Well, they were all close, but it was intense, I thought, for Monty in the first period.
No, but you're right, John, because the game could have got away in the first period.
Yeah, when you can withstand multiple Colorado power plays, this is like I'm saying for the whole game. But when you can withstand the lethal Colorado power play with Makar, with McKinnon, with Rantanen, Landeskog's going to be coming back soon too, which is good for Colorado. But
yeah,
but just
they had a good team.
And
Colorado's solid in terms of offense. Like those guys are fast. Like Nathan McKinnon, you watch him, you're like, oh my goodness.
They're a quality team. They're in the elite. They're in the elite.
They're in
league.
the elite category for sure. They're the Stanley Cup champs of 2022. They're not that far removed. You know what I noticed too was that Nick Suzuki's goal last night. He sort of outworked Casey Middlestat, newly acquired forward of the Colorado Avalanche from the Buffalo Sabres, and I like seeing that too. I'm like, yeah, he just outworked the guy too. That was part of the reason he got that goal. But
and then for the Troisième Étoile, I would make it the coaching staff.
For handling things the way they did.
The return of Marty St. Louis, yeah. The whole thing.
The whole
getting his
thing
first career
so smooth, exactly.
He said it was awkward circumstances, but yeah.
But everybody handling the pressure, everybody like getting behind each other, going through this whole time, fabulous.
Yeah, and apparently Marty St. Louis. I don't know if you guys heard this story, that when they got to the hotel in Colorado, St. Louis was waiting for them in the lobby, and he surprised them.
Yeah, wow,
So
Beautiful.
they said it was an emotional experience with Marty just like shaking hands and hugging Caden Goalie, I think he said, and we lost our flag a little bit there.
or a flag dropped.
Yeah,
It's at half staff.
It's okay. It's okay. But
Well, there's a reason it dropped, and it's at half staff. We lost an incredible legend this week who played for the Habs.
who was that again?
Paul Maznik passed away. He was the last surviving member of the 1953 Montreal Canadiens Stanley Cup champions.
Oh, wow.
Well,
At the
timing
age of
on that was
92.
perfect.
Well, yeah, I made that happen.
Condolences to his
So-
family.
Yeah.
That was the most positive way we could have transitioned into that. But yeah,
So your 3 stars are fantastic. I'm going to give honorable mention to Goalie, Slav, Armia, and Newhook.
so you're picking 4 guys.
I don't think they're
I make 7.
I think the 3 stars that John picked are great, and I agree with
Merci
them.
beaucoup.
But there's honorable mentions that also go out, and I think Goalie, Slav, Armia, and Newhook are the guys who get a little bit of honorable mention here, or over and above the guys who John picked, just because they've been playing fantastic hockey. I mean,
I got some different picks.
Go ahead.
I'm going to take as my 3rd star.
The 3rd star.
I'm going to say 3rd star Juraj Slafkovsky. 2nd star Yoel Armia.
Wow.
And 1st star, I don't know how you don't pick Nick Suzuki, the way he's been playing. So
Yeah.
But I'm
Suzuki is just...
Yeah, and I would have thrown Newhook in there too, just because of the way he's been playing and getting better. And now they're gonna keep the 3 of Newhook, Gallagher, and Armia together now, most likely.
Okay, so let's
We hope so.
let's wrap this 3-star thing up. The 3 stars are
Troisième étoile.
the Montreal Canadiens, and the Montreal Canadiens.
Hey!
How about that?
Absolutely.
We've named every player.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest takeaway over the last few games is that the team is playing each game as if it's meaningful.
Yes.
And
That's what you said.
and that is so important, and that is part of this culture that has been set up from the top down.
And you got to love that.
Yeah, that's why we keep harping on it, but to create that winning culture that we want to see going down the road for the next several years, these are the games that you pull from, that you draw from, in order to say, hey, like, we can, not only can we do this, we did do it. We've already done that. We've already done it against top teams. We've seen them beat the Rangers. We saw them beat the Bruins earlier this season. They beat Colorado twice. They beat other teams that aren't coming to mind right now, I'm sure. But
and we
those
so
other teams.
we won't be
whoever they are.
Whoever they are.
We won't be in the playoffs this year.
No.
But there is an up-and-coming International Ice Hockey Federation World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And many of our team could be participating.
Nick Suzuki and Sam Montembeault come to mind for me.
Yeah, Montembeault has already been asked about it because he
played last year, right?
And he's already said
and he won.
It depends how I'm feeling at the very end of the season, physically.
Okay.
Good.
That's fair.
Slav, though, could be playing for Slovakia. Reinbacher could be in Austria, depending on how Lavelle does, I guess. Armia might be even playing in Finland.
Well, there you go.
He's
He
played
last year, didn't he?
I don't know if he did, but he's playing that well this year that could take place.
Okay.
Caufield, the United States of America.
USNA.
So it'll be interesting, and I know Goalie would love to play for Canada if he gets invited.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I hope they all
Even
they all
Newhook, too,
get
the way you've
invited.
been playing. Who knows?
Yeah,
They can't all be Habs, I
Newhook
guess.
could easily play for Canada as well.
And I hope they don't get injured. That's
Thank
what I
you.
always
Well,
hope.
that's the key. That's a key there as well.
So I think we've gone through 5 games of the Dirty Dozen. Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Seattle, and Colorado. That's 10 points. And out of that, I think we got 5 points.
Which is still more
2
than
wins.
we thought we would.
Yeah, so we're at 500.
There's an overtime loss there.
Yep. So we
Against
got a couple
Edmonton.
points. We got a couple points in there, and we got
five.
a couple wins. So
Yeah. Like you said, 5 out of 10?
so to me, so far, so good, boys.
Yeah, 5 out of 10. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far so good. That's actually still better than we expected, which
Better than I expected. That's why I
Yeah.
called them the Dirty Dozen. I was looking at maybe
now they
helping
got,
out. Now we got Philly, Game 6 of the Dirty Dozen, at the Habs. And Philly always plays the Habs tough, and ever since the Leclerc deal, we've been jinxed. I don't expect the outcome.
John Tortorella does not play well in the Bell Center, though. John Tortorella teams, he does.
He gets too mad.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, he always seems to have things go against him at the Bell Center. I don't know what it is, but
Well, Philly's on the bubble to make the playoffs, so this is going to be an important game for them.
oh yeah,
And they're going to treat it as such. They're going to come out to win. Habs have been playing outstanding hockey so they can win. Marty back at home. It's going to be a close game. If I have to give the edge to anybody in this close game, and it could even be a tie going to overtime, I would be Philly. But you know what? After seeing Colorado last night, I don't even know if anybody can beat the Habs.
they may not lose again.
I'm so
season.
jazzed up, but I think it'll be close, but I'd have to give it a little bit of an edge to Philly.
Especially coming off of a long road trip, like the first one
Yeah.
back at home is
Exactly.
always a tough game
What do you think,
for the
John?
home team.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does with the goaltenders. I'd love to see him rotate them equally now, just to give Primo some real game experience. you
And
know?
to give Primo a shot against his dad's former team in Philly again, because he played good against Philly a little while back there. Actually, I see that.
Philly's on a losing streak.
I'm not sure. Well, yeah, they did lose. That's why Torts walked off the podium the other night.
So
apologized for,
I think the Habs have an opportunity here, especially after winning against Colorado and coming together. Like I see this whole semblance of lots of things coming together, and the stars are aligning
Right before the eclipse.
for the Canadiens.
It's getting weird.
But I would, if I was going to bet this game, for anybody who likes to bet, I would take the Habs plus 1.5, then cash in. Primo gets the start, leaving Saturday night
for Monty.
For Sammy. Saturday night with Sammy. And I just think it's going to be a close game. And I don't think the Philadelphia Flyers are going to beat Montreal by 2 goals. I think they're going
to come out hungry, though. I think Philly's going to come in hungry.
Oh, definitely.
The Habs hopefully are. It's going to be like when you come off of a high like they are in Colorado right now. It's going to be tough to maintain that.
Yeah, but there's nothing like coming home.
No,
for sure. But that's what I mean. It's comfortable, so you might get too comfortable at the same time.
And Marty's coming home. The crowd's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Montreal you're coming home to. You're not coming home to Toronto
or Niagara Falls.
You're coming home to Montreal.
Oh, there goes the whole thing.
There goes the rest of the flag.
Hi, Queen Street.
See you said some bad things there, and
yeah.
Don't put this on me.
I am.
You are. All right.
He gave it the voodoo.
And now I received none of that.
And now Montreal. There's nothing like playing in Montreal. You get a chance to play in Montreal, and you're wearing red, like your red home uniform. It's the best.
I mean, of course.
True.
You guys are gonna come with me to a game in the next couple of years. Right?
Yes, we got to take a train.
When I get my season tickets,
we got to take a train.
We are. We're taking via rail. There's no question.
Yep, take a train.
Should we get close to
the last train to Habsville?
I actually had the opportunity to ride a via rail train trip to the Bell Center for the All-Star game back in 1993.
Did you really?
I absolutely did.
Wow.
Absolutely.
We have to get that in there as many times as we can, guys. Yeah. Just get over it, okay?
We get paid for it.
So Saturday night in Montreal, Carolina at the Habs, Game 7 of the Dirty Dozen. Carolina is always tough for the Habs. They laid down a 4-1 beating on us just 3 short weeks ago, heading for 100 points and knocking on the door of the Metropolitan lead. They're not to be trifled with. I don't see the Habs winning this one. Sammy gets to start Saturday night special in Habs land. I don't know what you guys think, but I think this is probably not going to be a good one for the Habs to play.
Yeah, I think they'll kind of run out of steam from this high that they're on right now. So
Carolina has a great team.
It's Saturday though; anything can happen on a Saturday.
Carolina has a great team, and what we've done in the last little while is we've been playing really well against great teams.
Yeah, it'd be nice
That's
to see
true.
them actually
That's
play
true.
well against Carolina. It would be a nice change, but we'll see what happens, right?
And I just think that the excitement.
Now the flag is completely down.
I just think that the excitement is totally contagious now, and that the Habs are on a roll.
I mean, for them, yeah. I mean, the fans, I think, are probably still some of them. I'm so done with focusing on all the negative takes out there, though, because there's a dime a dozen, a dime a dirty dozen.
Mm-hmm.
Like just all the fans that are like, oh, yeah. Like, they don't need to get a better draft pick. You know what? We have no control on where they're going to draft, no matter what happens. So whatever we want to happen as fans doesn't matter because we have no control of the outcome. So I'm just at the point where no matter where they end up drafting, whether they get 7th overall or 8th or 6th or 5th or 4th or whatever, they bump up to 2nd. I don't know. You can't control that outcome. So let the team play well and stay encouraged, stay excited so that they have something to look. They're already looking forward to next season, I think, because of the way they've been playing now. Now it's up to Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton to, make the roster even better so that there's even more to look forward to next season. But they have the blocks in place. They have the pieces in place at the core, at the foundation. So let whatever's going to happen. You can't control where they're going to draft. So I'm not going to focus on. We have no control over where they're going to draft this year. We don't.
Every Canadian player knows that this team is on its way to getting better.
Yes.
And they definitely all know what's happening. I mean, just, what happened on the weekend in Laval and in Boston, they're all aware of that.
Oh, sure.
Yes, they are.
and you know what?
And in Brantford.
Yeah, and I don't even watch the games anymore to see if Montreal's going to win or lose. I watch the games to see if Montreal's going to be competitive. They're going to be in the game. They're going to be skating and having a good time playing, win or lose. That's all I want to see from them right now. We know we're not making the playoffs. We know that next year is going to be a way better year than this year. And so I just want to see them finish out the season, like John says, with a good culture within the team. They're out there with a winning culture, and they're getting along great. And win or lose, they're a team together. and they just want to be competitive now. They don't want to get hammered or beat down.
This team isn't playing like they're not going to the playoffs.
No, they aren't. Not at all.
And that's a key. This team is playing for the future. And if you're a Montreal hockey fan, hopefully you can see that and appreciate that. And it will pay dividends for you as a hockey fan, a Montreal Canadian hockey fan, 3-4 years from now.
Exactly, and that's what we're looking at. I just want to see a good game from them. Don't give up.
Like you said, being competitive.
That's right.
And that's what makes these games watchable. So.
And they really do. And Tuesday, April 2nd, of course, Panthers at Habs, another tough one, and that's Game 8 of the Dirty Dozen. Now you know why I'm calling them the Dirty Dozen, man. This has been a tough 8 games that we've played.
But they haven't floundered.
Yeah, no, they haven't.
Even in their losses, they haven't faltered.
Not at all. And
they've never given up. Their compete level has remained high.
And if you're a Habs fan, this is great news. But what can we say about Florida? They're a top contender for the Stanley Cup and knocking on the Bruins for top of the Atlantic Division. They did lose to the Bruins last night, Florida, 4-3. So they can be had. They can be beat. I would say the Habs are in tough in this one. We played them twice and lost twice, once in overtime. If I was going to bet it, I'd take the Panthers minus 1.5 and cash in. Sammy gets the start. I think Sammy's going to get another start against the Florida team.
Against his former team.
Yep. And you know what? Having said that, Habs fans out there, listen to what I'm going to tell you. After seeing the Colorado game, we can win all 3 of these. Believe me, I don't think we're going to, but man, if they played a game like that.
They're going to play like they can.
Oh, man, you got that.
That is the key, is playing like you can,
yep.
and trying to refine things and do things a little better.
They're creating that culture. They're creating that winning culture that they want to be the norm going forward.
And really, that's all we could ask for at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. I was going to say we're going to wrap up the recording on this episode on my side. You can keep going on absolutely on the air here, but
we thank for your camera and your recording. We thank Drew Deeks for coming in because we're going to end on that note. And we look forward to being on his YouTube channel and interacting with his fans. We love you all. We're all Habs fans together. We're in this together.
Go Habs, go.
Go Habs, go. Next year, the Stanley Cup. Drive for 25. In 25, maybe.
In the year 20. Whoa. Yeah.
In the year
deep.
25.
25. Hey, yeah. It's deep.
Either way, it's been a blast. So thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. Hit like and subscribe. We know you appreciate it. We know we appreciate you.
Thank you for all the nice comments you gave our premier show.